Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Spin It Social Hour. My name is 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐿, and I am the founder and creator of the Spin It Social Hour, which is a labor of love born out of care and concern for our photo community. And we are here every other Thursday, usually at 9 p.m. But this evening, we're coming to you at 6 p.m. Eastern Time because we have a very special guest coming to us all the way from Croatia. And she stayed up extra late for us tonight. And although she's a night owl, she confesses she is staying up and ready for us. So it is going to be a pleasure to bring on Olga Karlovac to the show. But first, a little more about the show. So as I said, it's a labor of love created out of care and concern for our photo community. I started the Spin It Social Hour when the pandemic hit, because I really wanted to help photographers get their journeys out there, their work out there, and let everybody know more about them. So we are now 45 shows in, and we have been spanning the globe looking for some of the great photographers out there to let you see their work and learn more about them. We've had Renita Roy on from India recently. We've had Olga Karlovac from Sweden. And last week we had Roxanne Overton from San Francisco, and this week we have Olga on from Croatia. So normally we do a wonderful narrative with Olga with their work, but I wanted to do something special for Olga because she had a beautiful piece of music composed for her work. So we're going to introduce her that way tonight. So enjoy this. Wow, as absolutely riveting and beautiful. As a former photo editor at the New York Times for over 15 years, and now being able to live stream these photographers and bring this to you as a social media and visual strategist, it is my absolute pleasure to bring on Olga Karlovac. Hi, Olga.
Hi, Stefan. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. I became enamored with your work from the minute I saw it. It is absolutely riveting, stunning. It is quite the body of work that you've built up. And thank you for staying up so late to come here with us tonight.
No problem. And thank you one more time.
So where are you coming to us from? I know you're in Croatia, but what is the town exactly?
It's a small town in Slavonia region. It's a region of Croatia, not the coastal region, but more the north region near Zagreb. People probably know more about the capital, Zagreb. So I generally spend my time there, but I'm just a little bit off now. It's a region.
Of course. I think it's easier to just probably tell people Zagreb, right? Near Zagreb.
Yeah. Basically, we are in Zagreb.
Yeah. Sure. I noticed when I tweeted something the other day, because I hashtag Zagreb, somebody picked it up that way. So Edward's already here. Edward's a former guest and also a great photographer and supporter of the show. He says atmospheric, haunting, and gorgeous photos.
Well, thank you, Edward. Thanks.
So, one of the special things about the way we formatted the show, Olga, as you know, is that it's wonderful to be able to have a live engaged audience and bring people on from all over the world. We've had people from all over, from South Africa, from Germany, India, you name it. So it's wonderful to show your work to everybody and to have you tell your story. So I'm going to get started right away, and I'm going to ask you, so Olga, tell us your journey, how you got into photography, how you decided to choose the formats you've chosen, and then we'll start getting into some more of the work.
Well, it's not a usual path, I would say. You know, I'm a self-taught photographer. I didn't attend school. I mean, it just happened.
Right.
By profession, I'm an economist.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But photography came to my life as I was a child. I was always shooting something, and I was always attached to photography. But later, I just, my life went in different direction. Just did other things and didn't go to photography school or academy of art or something. Mm-hmm. And quite late in my life, I mean, in my 30s, I just discovered it back again as a way of coping with life, as a stress relief tool. And I just started shooting, and mm-hmm. This is where it brought me.
Well, it's brought you to a significant point in your life, I believe, because, the one thing I really love about what you're doing is you're exactly what photographers need to be doing, in my opinion. You're doing several things at the same time. You're not only documenting things and you're doing the beautiful art that you do, but you're also publishing. And you're all over social media. You're a very avid user of social media, with Instagrams especially. And that's really important. So you've really brought it full circle for somebody who, works so hard at perfecting the fine art of photography.
Well, it's been a challenge, really, to do it all together in a way, because it requires so many different skills, and it's very difficult to put it together. But in a way, you are forced to do it because it's simply how it works.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I have a lot of passion for books, and self-publishing my photo books is something very important to me, and it's not something that I do. I do it for me. It's a part of my journey, part of what I love doing.
Well, let me tell you, I was so excited when I opened up the package and I got this all the way from Croatia. And I have to tell you, it may sound weird to some people, but not to photographers. It actually, the ink, you could smell the ink.
I know.
It's so new. I love it. It's like opening a Christmas gift because you can smell the newness of it.
Yeah, it took quite a while to reach the level of knowledge to produce something like that. And I have to also admit I have a great team of people in Croatia who helped me with the printing company.
Sure.
But it's the third book in the trilogy, the last one. So the third one that I've published, and I just it started as a hobby, and
it's stunning, though. It's stunning, and what's really, really beautiful about it is I love and we'll show a preview of it too that you did a beautiful video for. But I love in the book the way you space everything out. That there's plenty of photos that are divided up with black pages, not to be one of those books where every single page you turn there's a photo or everything's jammed together. Your use of space and your use of the black space on the opposite page with the abstract art that you've created in this fine art realm is spectacular, and I think you've done a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. It's I put it as a story. I try to, when I make a book, I try to really reach another level. The book is like an art for itself,
right?
And when you take the book and start going through the pages, it has to be an experience of its own. It's not only the photography; it's the whole package. Then, as you say, the smell of an ink, the way it's been. The shot, the shots, the way they have been put together, the text, the quality of paper, and the whole package, then should just bring you to another dimension.
Oh, it does. It does. Because I love photography books myself, and I won't get into that. But the point is that I love the feel to your book. I love the dimensions, the square shape, and it all just plays a very, very, very incredibly professional team of experts. You can see put this together, a real talented team. So hats off, literally, to your team.
Thank you. Well, they're so proud.
And I think it seems like we have a bunch of comments and questions. So I'm going to see if we have any new comments and questions from anybody. We usually get a flurry of things. But Andrew Kavanaugh is here. Andrew is incredible. He runs 3 Photoshop groups on Facebook. Some of them have almost 200,000 people in them. Well, and he was wonderful to share this broadcast. We thank him so much. Jerry is here from Milford, Pennsylvania, and he's intrigued by your creativity. Jerry's been waiting all week for this show.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, Jerry. Tim Sohn is here of Sohn Media Solutions, my colleague, and I call him my brother, Tim Sohn, the Tim and Jim Show. Hi, Olga, he says. Wonderful, wonderful. So, and Edward's here, of course, as we said, and wonderful photographer. Check out his show. But anyway, one of the things that I loved was thank you so much for being able to give us the opportunity to use an original score by somebody that was made just for you, to be able to highlight your work in the opening slideshow. That was magnificent. And I want to give credit to the composer because he's so amazing. And I want to quickly share the screen, and I want to show his Instagram page real quick so people can get a glimpse of him. This is Gary Posner, an award-winning composer, musician, and educator. Please find him at Sound is Everything on Instagram and get to know him, because that beautiful music was written just for Olga, just for the book and everything else. And he's done it for our other 2 books. Check him out, please, because he's a real talent and deserves some credit. So thank you, Gary, for doing that. We wanted to give him his credit where it's due. And Olga, so let's get some photos up here and let's start talking about your work.
Yeah, sure.
So let's start with something that me, coming from a background of 20 years at the New York Times and loving print to this day, I was thrilled. I was absolutely just giddy to see this photo of somebody sitting with a newspaper open, one of the big newspapers in Germany, that we will show the ticker for, that basically everybody can find online in English. But look at that beautiful spread you had. Tell us what it must have felt like.
It's been fantastic. I mean, I felt honored that such a high quality and important newspaper published the whole page about my work.
Right.
I worked with Freddie Langer, and he interviewed me, and we spoke a few times. And I was so thrilled when I got my newspaper at my address, when I personally opened it, and when I saw how it really looks nice in a printed version.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And I found a close-up of it too. You know what I love about it is that the way they played the black type on the blue background, that just totally accentuated the photos.
It's been fantastically done. I was so really happy that it really turned out so well.
Oh, it looks fantastic on the print, on the actual print page. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. And it's so rare to get, European publications and other publications abroad are still to this day doing these beautiful layouts, and I applaud them for that. And the New York Times does its fair share too, still. But and I have to give my old paper credit that way. But the European papers are very, very big on that.
I think it's great. I mean, I think it's so important that you still get those type of things, because you can't really feel the same way looking at that on your screen and having it in your hands on the paper. It's another dimension.
Now, the other thrill for you must be, as a photographer and a published photographer now with 3 beautiful books and many other things to your claim to fame, as I would call it, is that, you know, must be, I've always loved walking into bookstores, and I could stay in a photography section for hours.
Yeah,
But
me too.
it must be such a thrill to walk in and see your photos stacked up right there on a beautiful table, all laid out for the public to see, you know?
Yeah, yes, it is. I mean, it's obviously, you know, it's fantastic to see your work, your books, you know, everywhere, and people buying them, and you know, exhibiting your work. It's another dimension that then came along with all this.
Right. And, you know, besides print, besides books, there's also the thrill of a photographer, which I and many photographers have experienced, thankfully, is there's nothing like walking into a gallery and seeing your work beautifully framed and beautifully set up on the walls and organized just the way a master curator would do. And I love this. I picked this one because I love the way this curator set these up.
Oh yeah, it was my friend Eugene from 𝐒𝐡𝐞𝐫𝐞 Gallery. He brought my work to many places, and he really put it really nice.
Yeah, no, he did a beautiful job. It's absolutely beautiful. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put you at the top because you deserve to be at the top. It's a little thing of mine that is always important. Give the photographer the spotlight. So one of the things also that I wanted to talk to you about was your journey into photography. You talked a little about, but talk to us about your passion for abstract black and white, and dive a little deeper into that.
Yeah, well, it has been, you know, the way simply I shoot. It came to me pretty quickly during my, you know, the way I evolve as a photographer and as an artist. I started shooting more and more in motion, using a slower shutter from behind rainy, blurry windows, using reflections, and doing it all in black and white, because for me it's kind of simple but strong. It's I think it also brings the emotion that is more attached to me as black and white than in color. And for some reason, that's how I see it, I feel it, and it works for me.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. You know, I'm so glad that many photographers from around the world still embrace black and white photography, and that it's still highlighted in many avenues of photography, including I know you said you were highlighted in Black and White Photography magazine.
Yeah, Black was
yeah, sorry. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And we'll show that in a bit. But one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, that, like I said, you're the full package, Olga. You do everything, and I'm really impressed because
well, I'm trying.
Yeah, but you know what? You deserve all the credit in the world for that, because let me tell you, as somebody who does wears many hats, as I would say, it's not easy. And what you have done is you tackle all of it. And this is with a new startup called Speakeasy, which actually was called to my attention by a great photographer named Gary Hirshhorn. And Gary told me about it, and then I found you on it. And that's how I found you, you know?
Well, that's fantastic, because you never know, you know, when and where you're going to meet someone, find his work or
that's how I found you. I looked at Speakeasy. I saw this. I went to your Instagram page. So thumbs up to Speakeasy. Big props.
Absolutely.
As we say here in the States, big props to them.
Yeah.
Because
they are great support.
Yeah, because tell us about this, Olga. Tell us about what you're doing with Speakeasy.
We plan to start a workshop online. It should be an intimate workshop where I would teach in 4 sessions of about 2 hours, people about how to, you know, produce your own photo book. But it's not only about the pure production. It's the whole package, about shooting, about having an idea, about how to put it together, how to, you know, feel really that photo book,
Right.
being something of your own, and I want to share my experience and work.
Well, speaking of experience and works, oh, Edward's here. I knew Edward was going to chime in. Edward loves fine art photography. So my guess is the black and white film photography from a grain structure I can see, really beautiful. Sorry, my guess is that
it's digital.
Black and white film photography from a grain structure I can see is really beautiful. Oh, it's digital. Okay.
Yeah, I use Ricoh HR.
Okay. Well, if you can fool Edward, you can fool anybody.
Well, usually people think it's film photography, but it is digital. It's I think it's a compliment.
No, I knew it was, but a great comment by Edward regardless, because the point is that it shows it resembles true black and white photography.
I agree.
I used to love shooting 3200 speed film back in the days, and I used to love going out at night and finding great night scenes in at 3200 speed black and white film. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. But this is wonderful. I hope people check out your section on Speakeasy, and do check them out and see what Olga's teaching there. But let's put the photos back up, and let's get to some of your work so you can talk about the actual work here. And we are going to get into it with some beautiful, beautiful fine art photography here. So Olga, tell us a little about, even though it may not be the photo from that. So you have one book. The first book was called?
Yes, the first book was called Before Winter, and this is a shot from the first book of the trilogy.
Okay. And then the second book was called?
The second book was called The Disarray.
The Disarray, and now the third book is called, well, I love the name, Escape.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So tell us a little about winter.
Well, it's this shot that you just put is from that book. It's my beginning of my journey, and actually I didn't even believe that I started shooting, and I started shooting for the book. I had an idea. I wanted to put it in a book, on a paper, and I just started shooting. It was autumn. And I love late autumn and I love winter. So as this was the time when I started shooting, I just gave the name Before Winter. And it took me a year basically to finish the shooting. And usually I give myself a lot of time. And when I finished it, then the whole process of putting it together started. And actually, this shot is at the beginning of the book. It's done in Dubrovnik. It's my hometown. It's been done with the slower shutter, just with some hand movement with the camera.
Sure.
And it was.
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful picture, and it's really I could just look at it and study the different elements of it all the time. Every time you look at this photo in different angles, it gives you a different perspective. I look right, I see the beautiful contrast between the brightness on one side and then the windows on the other side, and then you look down and you see that incredible shadow of the person walking towards you, and then behind him another subject matter. It really, really, really beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah, it's one of the shots I also really like of my shots, and it's one I
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. So let me ask you a question. How does the history of Zagreb affect your work or your point of view? And also, how does the architecture and urban landscape in general of Croatia and these cities where you live guide you and direct you and also grab you to photograph the things that you do?
Well, it's difficult to say because it is, it's a place where you live, where you've been born, and of course it affects you. It affects you how you think, how you see things, how you feel, and you can't escape from from your every day surrounding.
Right.
And I think it influenced me a lot. But also, it's very difficult to say how I think it can be seen in my photography a lot, because the architecture and the scapes does show a lot. And
Right.
I would say quite moody, quite emotional, and it affects me, I would say, and it affects my art.
Right, right. And also, what is it about? I mean, I note all the different figures in your photos, in your creations. A lot of movement, of course, created by the way you photograph it with with slow shutter speeds and everything, but also the what is it about the people and the people of Croatia, and also just the life in Croatia is what I'm trying to say, that lends itself to what you're doing in terms of how you're capturing life there.
Sorry, I have a problem with the sound.
Oh, no problem. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but it's kind of...
Okay, let me see if I can fix that for you. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me go here.
Is it because of our...
I don't know. How about now? Is that any better?
No, should I refresh the page?
You could go ahead and try that real quick. Sure, go ahead. Hold on 1 second, folks. We'll bring Olga right back in. Sometimes these things happen where we might have a technical moment, but we're going to fix it. We can hear her a little, but she needs a little better reception with us. Olga, how's that? Any better?
Not really. I mean, it's. I can hear you, but it's not perfect. I might try to maybe move my laptop.
Okay, let me try any better.
No, it's better. Now it's better.
Now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Sorry
yes.
about that. Okay.
No, it's probably because of internet connection.
It could be, but we're good. We're good
now.
now.
We're good now. Yeah.
So I was asking you basically about life in Croatia, life in Zagreb, life throughout Croatia. What is it about that you see every day, that you've grown up around, that you've been around, that you experience? What is it about the life there that attracts you to photograph the way you do and capture the moments that you do?
Well, I think it's evolving country. It's a country that has been going through a lot lately and in near history, and definitely it's I would say it does affect. I mean, but it's more in some subconscious way, because you just go out and shoot the way you feel and how you see things, and all the impulses that simply come to you just bring the work the way it is. I mean, Croatia is a small country. It's a country that still tries to find its own place in the world in a way, and it's but at the same time, it's a country with very rich history and with a very rich architectural background. So it all kind of, I think, is represented in the way I shoot the people, the way they look, and the scapes, and the energy and the emotion.
No, you definitely have a different perspective than anybody who just visits would have. That's for sure. So one of the things that I wanted to also highlight about what you're doing is I wanted to show a little quick section of the book that you made, which is going to be beautiful to show. So let's show everybody how you've done this and how beautiful the video you made on this. So let's check that out real quick. So that is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I have to tell you, I love the way you display the books online on your website to be able to show people and give people a feel for your work that way. And it is just gorgeous. So what I want to do is I want to go and I want to put this back up. You know, when I came across this photo, it became instantly one of my favorite photos. This is also from winter, correct?
It's from before winter, and it's also
Before winter,
it has been taken in Dubrovnik as well during a snowstorm.
Yeah, I love snowstorms, so it captured my heart and my eyes right away. It's beautifully done with the angle and the contrast of the woman coming, or man coming towards us. It looks like a woman.
It was a woman, yeah.
In black with all that snow and that slow shutter speed. Well done, well done.
Well, thank you, thank you. It's one of my favorite shots as well, and it's a very rare situation actually, because Dubrovnik is It's on the Adriatic coast, and it never snows. So basically, you get snow once in a decade.
Wow. So you were,
and I was lucky one.
Yeah, you know what? You were lucky. Absolutely. I think that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And the other thing that I wanted to hit on was this next photo right here. You know, you also do between the three books. I have to ask you this question actually. Between the three books, it's a hard question to ask a photographer. But which of the three books so far is your favorite?
Well,
That's a tough question, right?
It is, because they're so different, and they have a different. Although they are part of the trilogy, and I all see them as one path. So you know, I see them as a package. I like them all in a little bit of different way, because I was in a different state and different place when I made them. But you know, you always prefer the last one, the one that you just made.
Right.
But looking back now, I mean, it's a difficult question, because they're, you know, I see them in I would say the last one, because it's the last one. If I ever decide to go for another one, then it will be that one.
Sure. Well, let me ask you something. When you decided to when you did the first book, how did you decide to go from the first title to then something like Winter, and then to something called Escape? What was the thought process in developing a trilogy of books, in a way, of the way you document the life in Croatia that way?
You know, titling the first one Before Winter Came, because this was the part of the year when I started shooting for the book, and also the part of the year that inspires me. That time just before winter comes, just before, you know, you have first cold days, first snow, right. And like that's why Before Winter. And then the second one, it really represented the way I felt, the way things were happening. It was a kind of, it was a feeling, and it came to me, and I felt it was the appropriate title for the book. And when I started shooting for the Disarray, I made a decision to make the trilogy, and then I finished it with Escape.
And well, Edward says, I love how you show us just enough, but not everything, in crazy detail in the photos. Yeah. An amazing approach that leaves us all in great thought of where we are when we view the image, a journey to another world. And that lends itself, Edward could have written the introduction to your book.
Well, this is fun. I really love the way he expressed his
yeah, no, he
opinion.
has a beautiful way of expressing his thoughts about photography on the show, and I love that his contributions are weekly. He's a great fan of the show, and like I said, his show with us was great. But I wanted to quickly, alluding on that, I wanted to go quickly to, whoops, hold on one second. Sorry.
But I can hear you well now. That's an improvement.
Yeah, no. I wanted to go to, your website for a second, and I wanted to bring it up for 1 second. And the reason is I wanted to highlight something here that I think needs to be read. So, Olga, 𝐒𝐡𝐤𝐫𝐤 wrote, Olga Karlovac is a photographer who explores the darkness and the mystery of the unseeable world with a haunting and painterly eye. Her camera is like a cosmic antenna turned to project the impressionistic frequency of the space between reality and every other possibility under the sun. Escape is an exploration and a celebration of everything the camera isn't supposed to be able to do, giving us a glimpse of a world we would not otherwise be able to see. I have to tell you, that is absolutely beautifully written.
Yeah, I loved it. When he sent me his forward, I was so thrilled and happy and emotional about it.
And it absolutely beautifully details your work.
Yeah, I agree. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I can see why you pinned that at the top of your site.
yeah. I loved it as well. And
no, it's gorgeous.
He did a brilliant job with his writing. He should write more.
He should. And speaking of brilliant jobs, one of the things I want our fan base and our loyal viewers to do is, please, everybody, make sure you share this broadcast. We love your likes. We love your hearts. We love your comments. And we love your attendance here, being here with us every 2 weeks. But please hit the share button so that Olga's work can get out there and that everybody else can see it, whether it's on replay or not, on YouTube, etc. But please do that for us. And that is the way to really amplify Olga's work. So thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, thank you from my side as well for sharing.
Absolutely. This photo right here is so unbelievable. It is so cool. It is so, it draws you in and makes you sit here and just think for a while. I mean, tell us about this photo, Olga.
Well, it's been done in Dubrovnik as well. It's in Old Town during quite rush hour, I would say. A lot of people were walking, and this is the main street, well known even in the world, called Stradun.
Right.
And I was just walking quite fast behind a few people and just intuitively took a shot, and from just walking behind them and turn out that way. It was quite a sunny day, and the shot has been done during the day, of course.
It's just your technique is just spectacular. In fact, we have our first viewer from abroad this evening. We have Rose Karen here from South Africa. Rose is here, and Ruth Spicer is here. And she says that well-worded description on your website aptly describes the type of photography that you impart to all the viewers. And Bimal Nepal is here from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Bimal is a wonderful, wonderful photographer from Cambridge. Thank you, Bimal. And shared it. And he shared it too. Thank you, Bimal. Thank you so much. That is the way, folks. Share, share, share. And Edward says, once again, it is an unworldly, subconscious look to it.
I love his writing. I love Edward's writing. I have to say that it really grabs me and kind of really...
Oh my God, I apologize to Rose. Rose, I'm so sorry. We have viewers from all around the world. A little slip up on my part. And please, everybody, Rose is from New Zealand. So we've had viewers from South Africa. I got 2 people mixed up. Apologies, Rose. I love New Zealand in my dreams. I hope to get there soon. But Edward, maybe I should hook you up with Edward to write your next introduction.
Well, once if I decide to go for another book, why not? I love how his words come.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of social media, and that's why I love having this multimedia approach towards presenting things. and getting the world involved. So, you know, we have, like
Yeah,
I
I think
said,
it's great. I think it's the best way to actually, you know, in this online world now, to
yes,
present art. You know, this really works,
good.
and
I'm so glad you like it. Made me so happy when you liked the format, and also the fact that you were pleased
really,
with
really enjoyed this
the
format.
way, you know, the way the photos are curated, because I take a lot of pride in doing that opening slideshow for photographers. But
Yeah, I know, and I loved it.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. But let's get back to your work here. You know, let's go through a few of these here. Another just absolutely stunning image, and then wow, this has so many components to it. I'm going to take, because I couldn't examine all three books, but I'm going to take a stab at it and say that this was on a train platform.
Yes, it's been done in Zagreb at the main train station,
Okay,
and this is a reflection shot. So
right,
it's a reflection in glass, and these things you have on the photo there from the dirty wall
right,
behind the glass. That's
right.
how I all those dirty lines and the
Oh,
small dots. That's the
absolutely.
dirt from behind the glass, the wall, and its reflection.
I think I love photographers that use reflection really well. It's such a subtle but yet powerful thing to use, you know?
Yeah. I used it quite a lot.
Right.
Reflections.
So this is where I'm going to bring Jonathan on, because Jonathan is our great co-producer who helps me so much every week in keeping my act together and bringing this show together and everything else. But he's a student of architecture and an incredible writer himself and everything. So Jonathan, welcome, nice to see you. And I'm going to let you ask a question, which I know you'd probably love to ask of Olga, considering her beautiful fine art photography and also her use of architecture and streets and stuff in her photography. So go ahead, Jonathan.
Because of my interest in the urban scape and in urban planning, I was very much drawn to how you use architecture in your photography, particularly with people and how they relate to architecture. And I wanted to know more about it.
Well, it's a very interesting question, I have to say, and it's been asked for the first time. I usually, my photography is intuitive, and I usually spot something and I just click. So it doesn't happen in a way that I prepare my shots, that I look at the landscapes and the architecture and then wait and then put the people in or something. It just happens. But I think architecture and all these scapes really affect you and inspire you, I would say, to shoot more. And then this is the end result. Because it's where I was born, it's where I live all my life, so it affects you, and you put maybe even subconsciously together the people, the scapes, even shooting at night, shooting during the day. It's all different as well. So I think it's all part of one big picture. How you intuitively shoot and see things.
Right.
I don't do it aware of it. I just do it.
Well, we have an interesting comment from Rose. I'll block myself out here for a second. It says, photos are interesting. I'm going to Melbourne soon. Such an awesome place for street photography. So we already have people drawing comparisons to street photography and where to shoot. So this is a good question, Jonathan, I think. Olga, it just popped in my head. We had so many questions for you, but what other cities that you've traveled to really capture your interest as much as your home town and city and areas?
Well, actually, I need time to start shooting at a certain place, certain town, or certain position, certain places. So most of my shots are from Dubrovnik and Zagreb, and both of those places are places where I spent a lot of time,
right,
and that I feel very familiar with, and
right,
so that's why probably I feel attached to shooting there. I
right.
didn't shoot much anywhere else, actually. I have few shots from London. I did them when I was traveling there more because of my photography and
Right.
exhibitions.
Right.
And I have a few shots from other cities in Croatia where I accidentally, spend a little bit more time. But I do need time before I start shooting. I can't just, pop up
Right.
somewhere, take my
Right.
camera and just
Right.
shoot. I
Oh, no,
need
no.
that feel
Yeah.
of the energy of
Right.
the whole place. And
Right.
as Jonathan said, the architecture and the people.
Sure.
And then it just comes to me and I
Mhm.
start shooting, and then
Okay.
it just works.
Jonathan,
What
you have
would be
another
the one
question, it
place-
seems?
What would be the one place you would most like to shoot buildings and people and things like that that's not in Croatia?
I'm not sure, actually. I think I let myself to be surprised, and it would probably be a certain place where I would spend for start more time there, just to feel accommodated and to feel better and to feel the energy. But maybe you never know. I mean, what will inspire you?
No, you don't. You really don't. And actually,
And
go ahead. I'm sorry, Olga, please.
no, it's sometimes you feel you just made enough shots somewhere, and then you wake up and something else inspires you, take your camera and shoot again.
Right.
So
Okay.
I would like to go to some cold towns, somewhere with a lot of snow, with a lot of rain, because the energy of winter and the energy of bad weather inspires me much more than the sun and the cold and the hot
Right.
weather.
Right.
So
No,
I would, to answer the question of Jonathan,
Yeah.
it would probably be some old historical town somewhere in the north.
Right. Okay, that makes that I can see you going to just that type of area too.
That type of area, yes.
Yeah, I do.
would,
I feel that in your work and in your eye, and also, like you said, you go somewhere and you have to be there for a bit to really capture the energy, the feel to the area, the feel to the people, and study the architecture a bit, and look at things for a bit, not just get there and start shooting.
Yeah.
So,
and then it
John,
just happens. At one
Yeah.
point, it just happens. You connect and you feel the energy to shoot.
absolutely.
But I would say it would be that type of town, for example.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Okay,
I-
ciao. Okay, see you soon. Okay. So that's our usual. I bring Jonathan on to ask a couple of questions because he does a lot of work with me all week in structuring the show, and I couldn't do this without him. And we've been a great team together, so I appreciate him so much. But tell me a more now as we segue into this. We've got about 10 to 15 minutes left. One of the things I wanted to segue into was what draws you in when you're photographing people, as opposed to photographing them possibly in certain angles and when they're walking away from you or other things. What is it about some working on portraits and other pictures of people when you're trying to capture a little more intimacy of them?
Well, it's as they are all, street shots, and it's not that someone will sit and pose for you.
No.
So you have to really. I mean, the base thing is the same. Something grabs your attention. Someone walking towards you, and you decide to click. You decide to make a shot,
Right.
and it is a bit different than when you shoot silhouettes running around.
That's right.
But the basic thing is the same, that they grab your attention.
So I'm curious to ask you a question, because I'd be interested to know have you ever ventured into medium format photography?
No.
Okay, I was just curious. So what do you shoot with, Olga? I never even asked you what you shoot with.
Ricoh HDR.
Okay. Okay.
And HDR2. I mean, it's a small packed camera that
Sure.
Is used quite a lot in street photography.
Sure, of course it is.
I mean, it's not even expensive camera.
Right.
I mean, I started with that's my second camera. First, I had something else, but since I started with that camera, I felt really good with it.
I've always said, go ahead. I'm sorry. Please finish.
No, and since I've started with it, I never felt a need or desire to change.
Right.
And
right. No, listen, when you get comfortable with a piece of equipment, it becomes like your other hand,
Yeah, in a way, yes, for sure.
Well, it becomes an extension. It becomes an extension of you.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I had very certain cameras for quite a long time when I was shooting black and white and other things, street photography back in the days, and I became very enamored with my Nikon EM. I never left my Nikon EM out of my hands.
yeah.
I loved it.
You just pick some camera, and just attach to it, and
right now. Of course, there's also, you've done other types of things too. You've done some self-portraits.
Yeah,
you've done
that's
other
one
things.
of them. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I can tell and stuff. What is it about doing a self-portrait to do it in a similar way, the way you do with your street photography? How do you manage to think of what you're trying to capture in a self-portrait to keep with the style that you do?
Well, it's also kind of urge a need to do it, and I just feel let's see how it's going to turn out.
Right.
And I experiment, and you never know how it's going to look, and that's something that is always a new chapter, and it's always interesting to see the end result. And it's different, of course, than when you shoot on the street and around, but it does have a similar style and a similar feel.
Right. Now, I love I'm a big fan of pure street photography in terms of like capturing a lot of beautiful lights and motion and everything. And I love this of this gentleman walking down the street. Mm-hmm. It may have been raining, it may have been not, but I definitely see, if I'm correct, he's probably walking his dog late at night.
He's walking. It was during quarantine times, during this pandemic, and I was driving it was during that period. I mean, it was he was walking the dog, and it was wet, and it was. I was driving and just saw him. Actually, it's not far away from my apartment, and just
beautiful.
Quick shot from the car.
Isn't night photography something so special?
Yes, I love. It's for me. It's I love shooting during the night. And,
there's something really magical also about walking around with your camera. I always found when I was doing a lot of street photography in black and white back in the days in Greenwich Village. There's always something special about walking around the streets late at night with your camera.
It is. I mean, it's a different feel. It's a different energy than during the day. Yeah. And also, I love it when it's dark and rainy, because the reflections of water and light.
Yes. Oh yes.
It gives completely different everything.
No, it does. It does. I grew up in the village, and I lived for a good period of time in what's called the meat market in Greenwich Village, in the West Village. And the meat market was an incredible place to like photograph certain things late at night, because you had these really old streets with all kinds of meat factory doors and hooks hanging up, and anyway, but beautiful. I love this photo. Well done.
What I love is how light transforms during night, and especially if it's rainy, and you get
you do love to shoot in the rain, don't you?
yeah, I love it when it's
yeah. I noticed that from your books. I've studied a lot of your photography preparing for this show, and I have to tell you, I always love discovering new and incredible photographers such as yourself, especially ones who gear themselves towards literally their own space, because there's a lot of photographers out there, and there's a lot of very special photographers out there, but fine arts photography has a very special place in this world.
Yeah.
You know, so Edward says, do you ever use condensation on the lens? Oh, interesting question. I remember breathing on the lens and shooting on cold, rainy days. Good. I like this, Edward. And to me, that was one of my best filters ever.
Well, that's very creative. I might try. I never tried it. I didn't get that idea.
Wow, Edward, you just gave me something to play with there. I never did that.
I use rainy, blurry windows. This one, the shot that you are now showing, is the one that has been done from behind rainy, blurry window.
Well, and we just got a photographer I know who's going to love your work. Peter 𝐒𝐴 is in the house, and Peter 𝐒𝐴 is a fantastic photographer, and I'm sure he's going to check out all your work. Life Squared. He has been a former guest. Anyway, but Edward, that is I love that, man.
Yeah.
That is really, I'm going to have to, Olga and I are going to see who can take
I'm going to start doing.
Okay, you're probably going to beat me to it. I love it, Edward. Very good. I love it. I love it. So welcome, Peter. Welcome from San Francisco. Peter 𝐒𝐴. Thank you for being here, my good friend. So let's move on here. And oh man, I tell you, the curves in this photo with between the rain and the slick street and that woman walking away with her umbrella and the bag and everything and the train. Wow, just magical.
That's why I love shooting during rainy days and from behind. This is the same as from the last image you showed. So basically, that's the same way of doing it.
That's right. That's right. And just wow, beautiful. And like I said, I know you love to take the range pictures, and I'm glad you do, because you really capture them magnificently with the slow shutter speed. Using a slow shutter speed like that is a cross between, of course, as you said, it's always a cross between technique and also something magical that's just going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Well, because like you said before, Olga, right? It's a cross between the components of the slow shutter, the light, and then there's the chance factor of what you may have captured that nobody can predict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, and in this photo, what else, Olga? What else would you say about it? I mean,
well, I would say I remember. For this one, I do remember a little bit more. For some, you don't remember for all the shots you make.
Of course not. Right.
For this one, I remember it's been really moody and dark day. Generally, it's been one of those days when everything feels that way, and it's. I've been sitting. I've been standing in the tram at the back of it with a window in front of me, and everything was wet, and the light was heavy, and it was quite dark.
Okay, well, Andrew says the strong contrast reminds me, and actually he's right. Absolutely on the money, Andrew. Andrew's got a great eye, and he's got great technique with Photoshop and other things. He said the strong contrast reminds me of etchings in printmaking. Yeah.
What's that? What?
Etchings is sort of like when you would take a charcoal pencil and do an etching, It does have that feel to it.
Yeah.
It does.
I've heard it before.
Quite a few of your photos have that feel to it, and that's a very special quality. That's a very special quality.
I've heard it before, and I take it as a compliment.
Oh, absolutely.
Say it's like they appear.
Absolutely. It's like a ballet of umbrellas, and it is. It's a ballet of umbrellas, people, and the rain and the contrast just makes it the perfect image, you know?
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's a winner. It's a winner. Absolutely. I'd love to see this one like on a nice gallery wall, nice, nice 16 by 20 size, you know.
Yeah, it has been already shown.
Yeah, 16 by 20 might be a bit big, maybe even 11 by 14.
Yeah, what's that in centimeters? 11 by 14. I have to check.
But regardless of the size, it's a beautiful. It must make for a beautiful print.
It does. I mean, I made a couple of them for customers and for exhibitions, and it does look really, really well.
Like I said, the work is stunning. The work is magnificent. And one of the things I wanted to do quickly was also, as we're drawing to a close here, is I wanted to show everybody quickly the air. So you were also featured. To close it out with a shout out to Black and White Photo Mag on Instagram. Everybody should follow them and check them out for the art and the beauty of black and white photography. Black and White Photo Mag made a beautiful, beautiful spread of your work in print. And they said, we love the haunting work of Olga Karlovac. See the current issue of Black and White Photography, Black and White number 243, the issue. Available all over. You can check it out. But that was very kind of them to give you that spread. And actually, they showed some of the photos that we showed here. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's great. So you've had a really good run. But you know what? There's nothing that replaces, and I'll say this honestly, there's nothing that replaces the hard work that you put into your fine art photography. And we thank you for your dedication to the craft.
Well, thank you for having me on this show, and it's been really a pleasure talking, and hope people enjoyed it and had a nice time.
Absolutely. You know, it's late. I would normally keep you. If you want to wait for 2 minutes, I just have to close the show and I could say goodbye. If not, I understand if you want to go to sleep. You know?
No, I'll keep waiting, and
I'll leave you with a little laughter here. Peter De Silva says, "Sorry for joining late, Olga. I just picked up a couple of new foster dogs." Peter's been adopting a lot of dogs, and he's a wonderful human being, and he's been saving a lot of dogs because there's been a lot of things going on. So,
well done, Peter.
And he says, "I will rewind and watch it from the very beginning." So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. So, Olga, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a couple of things that we do at the end, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay. So, Olga, actually, why don't you do something for your beautiful people in Croatia? Why don't you say goodbye in your own native tongue?
Okay. 𝐷oviđenja.
Okay. There you go, everybody. Okay, Olga, I'll be right with you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Hold on. All right, everybody. It's been another great Spin at Social Hour. I really enjoyed this one because I love black and white photography. I know you guys do too. Thank you for being here. I have a couple of things I want to mention real quick, so please hold on. Don't just abandon ship here. One of the things that I wanted to mention was that a good friend of ours, 𝐒𝐡𝐞𝐫𝐞, who has 3 Photoshop groups on Facebook. You have to check them out. Find him right there. 𝐒𝐡𝐞𝐫𝐞 is doing Creative Pro Week, May 17th through the 21st. And please check that out. I'm going to take the banner or ticker off for 1 second to show what's beneath it there. But you can save $100 on any multi-day pass with the promo code CPWP SLR at creativeproweek.com. Check it out and hook up with this great workshop. Okay. So thank you very much, Andrew, for sharing that with us. And then the other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to mention our sponsors. I've left these to the end this show because please stay tuned and hear from them because they do a lot by sponsoring the show. But I didn't want to interrupt the flow of Olga's work tonight. So one is StreamYard. StreamYard is the best streaming platform around. I am in love with it. It's changed my life as a social media and visual strategist and now a live stream producer for many organizations and people out there. And I have to tell you, they've brought it to the foreground, and that's why I'm able to bring you all of this work every 2 weeks and do it the way I do it as a multimedia component and show. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you, Gage and Dan, for doing all you've done. So, and finally, I want to mention my sponsor, Real Talk Live from the Barn with visionary brand strategist Emilio Pardo. And we just did a show yesterday that you can catch. And let me tell you, it was amazing. And it was basically a show with Chris Gardner from the Pursuit of Happiness. So please check it out. Real Talk Live from the Barn on YouTube and on Twitter at PardoVision. And check that out. And here is a glimpse of the opening of Real Talk. And we will have a new show very soon.
Hi there. Welcome to Real Talk Live at the Barn.
All right. There's Emilio right there. Like I said, Chris Gardner from the Pursuit of Happiness was our guest yesterday. So please check it out. I'll drop the link in the comments. It's a great interview with one of the great inspirational stories out there, from homeless to multi-millionaire stockbroker and inspirational speaker at even such places as the United Nations. Chris is an inspiration to us all. And I want to leave by saying, check us out in 2 weeks. I'll have another great guest. And for now, check out Olga, spread the word about her and her work. And we thank you for being here once again. Stefan Kaplan for the Spin It Social Hour. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. Good night. Take care. And be safe.